Title: From a Mud House to the Secretariat, the story of Arjun Patel. He was born in a one-room mud house on the edge of a dusty village. The ceiling leaked when it rained, and the family's single oil lamp was shared between study and supper. Arjun Patel's father worked as a daily wage laborer until sickness took him. His mother sold vegetables at the market. Poverty was not a background to Arjun's life, it was the weather he walked in every day. School was a government building with cracked benches and a teacher who was strict but fair. Arjun learned to read early, not because he had books at home, but because he wanted a different tomorrow. In the afternoons he carried water and ran errands. In the evenings he did his homework under the streetlight near his house, using a borrowed slate when paper was unaffordable. The first real turning point came with an old, slow bus ride to the town library. The librarian, Mr. Sharma, a retired teacher with a gentle smile, noticed the boy who read everything he could find. He lent Arjun books and patience. "Read widely," he said. "Ideas are the seeds. Hard work waters them." Mr. Sharma helped Arjun join a government scholarship program and guided him through the basics of reasoning and essay writing. Arjun began to dream of the IAS, not for prestige, but because he wanted to change the world he grew up in. There were countless obstacles. Coaching institutes that could have taught exam strategy demanded fees the family could never pay. The internet was a luxury. Arjun's first attempt at the UPSC prelims came after 3 years of self-study, borrowed notes, late-night library sessions, and cramped handwriting. He failed. The result hit like a winter cold. For weeks he felt the pull to give up and accept a steady job, something reliable, something immediate. Pride and hope fought in him. He took a job in a small textile mill to help at home, waking at 4 a.m., working 8 hours, and then studying from 8 p.m. to midnight. The second attempt ended in disappointment to a close miss in the mains. His mother cried quietly, not for shame but because she had watched him give up so much sleep and food. Yet she also reminded him, "You do this for everyone, beta, not just for us." That sentence became a shield against despair. Arjun adjusted his approach. He mapped weaknesses, learned from answer copies of toppers, and taught underprivileged kids in the evenings in exchange for their notes. He learned time management the hard way, 20 minutes for quick revision slides, an hour for current affairs, 2 hours for optional subject mastery. He turned the mill's noisy lunchroom into a reading zone with earplugs and determination. The third attempt changed everything. Arjun cleared prelims with a respectable rank, topped his district in the mains, and his interview panel saw the boy from the mud house, calm, reflective, and earnest. "Why IS?" asked one member. He spoke of roads that turned into mud in the rains, of a primary health center without medicines, of children forced to drop out to sell vegetables. He said, simply, "So that I can fix things practically, honestly." The panel nodded. He was recommended for the service. Arjun's joining day was quieter than the day his mother first bartered for a better onion at the market. There was pride, yes, but also a heavy sense of responsibility. He was posted initially to a district not far from his village. The first years were trial by fire. Administrative files, political pushes, resource constraints, the bureaucracy could be unforgiving. But Arjun had something many seasoned officers lacked: an intimate knowledge of what policies meant on the ground. He began with small, decisive changes. He mapped households that were excluded from welfare schemes and organized a week-long camp to register and correct documents. He negotiated with suppliers to ensure the public distribution system actually delivered rice and not excuses. He sat with health workers to rework outreach schedules so pregnant women could access clinics without losing a day's wage. He didn't make headlines, he made the system work. Not everything succeeded. A sanitation drive faltered when villagers resisted new methods. An education program stumbled because midday meal contracts were delayed. Each failure taught him a lesson: consultation matters more than fiat, simple incentives matter more than grand speeches. He started convening Gram Sabha meetings where villagers spoke, and he listened. He brought teachers, Anganwadi workers, and farmers to the same table. He learned to translate policy jargon into concrete steps and to carve budgets into bricks that built schools and toilets. A few years in, a cyclone hit the coast. Food stocks, shelter, and rescue operations needed coordination. Arjun slept on a cot in the district control room for 4 straight days. He coordinated relief in the dark, called in departmental teams, and personally visited makeshift camps to ensure elderly evacuees got blankets. The relief operations ran smoothly, not because of one plan, but because a chain of small, practiced decisions had prepared the machinery to respond. Stories of one officer who refused to wait for orders to act spread. People called him the man who came at night. What made Arjun successful was not just intellect or grit, it was empathy fused with competence. He didn't use his authority to assert power, he used it to remove friction from people's lives. He set up transparent grievance redress systems, made procurement rules more accessible to small contractors, and pushed for digital record keeping to reduce leakages. He mentored young officers, reminding them that administration is a human art as much as a technical skill. Years later, when he walked past the same lanes he had once scavenged for light to study by, children ran to him not because he was an IS officer, but because he had ensured their school had water. Their Anganwadi had books, and their mother's ration reached home. The Secretariat granted him a modest medal for service. The real reward was quieter, the sight of a girl in his village getting a scholarship to medical school, or the elderly man who could finally access a pension without bribing anyone. Arjun's journey did not erase his past struggles, it informed his future decisions. He started a small community library, funded partly by a program he initiated to donate retired government furniture to village schools. He often reminded young aspirants at public meetings, don't prepare to clear a paper, prepare to solve problems. Success is not simply a rank, it is a responsibility. Lessons from Arjun's story. Times resilience matters more than immediate success. Failures teach the right lessons when coupled with reflection. Times support systems, teachers, mentors, and family can change the trajectory of a life. Times empathy grounded in competence creates lasting impact. Times small, persistent changes often do more for people's lives than grand gestures. Arjun's life was proof that poverty and promise can coexist, and that one person's determination, combined with honest public service, can turn personal triumph into communal transformation. You keep showing up, he told a batch of young aspirants once, and the world will keep answering.